Hey, what's up guys? Sir Amanon here, bringing to you the first of a series of combo videos at last. I apologize that this is, I guess you could say, delayed from literally last format, and I apologize for that. Realistically, I probably should have just done those combo sequences. But I'm actually kind of glad to get started on this new format because, like a lot of people prophesized, the Rum spell was not sticking around for a long time, or at least the combo in its entirety. And now that that's out of the way, I think everything that I'm about to showcase is, by comparison at least, fair, quote unquote. It still ends on very powerful boards, but yeah, there's not really a whole lot of like locking people out. You can still do that through like really weird methods, but I prefer consistency and realistically trying to actually build these boards through hand traps and other forms of disruption, rather than trying to look at things in a vacuum, because I don't ever think that looking in a vacuum is ever the optimal way to approach deck building. So that is the consensus on that. But yeah, I'm just gonna show you guys a series of combos that hopefully will be applicable for the foreseeable future, which by that I mean at least this format, hopefully, provided that we don't get new support, aka Wise Tricks. But yeah, I'm going to have a playlist up, hopefully. Please, future me, remind me to put a playlist up of these videos, and I'm gonna put one combo per video just for the sake of having ease of access for finding specific combos. But yeah, like I said in my analysis video, the most recent one, check out if you haven't already. Chick and Tiger are the bread and butter of any combo. Basically anything else can extend the board or make something entirely different. So with that out of the way, let's go for my preferred variation of the Chick Tiger combo. There's many different ways to do it, many different boards you can end on, but this is my preferred method as of right now. So we're going to go ahead and normal summon the Kaleido Chick as always, and use its effect to send a copy of Yellow Marten to grave. Then we're going to scale the Lunalight Tiger and use its effect to bring back the Marten. Just gonna put counters to make sure I can keep track of stuff. We're going to overlay these two materials for the Raid Raptor Force Strix, and then we're going to attach specifically the Yellow Marten to search our lone copy of Blackwing Zephyrs the Elite. From here, we're going to have to use Yellow Marten already. It seems kind of early, but it does actually work itself out, because we do have, like I was mentioning, the Orcust combo, which is a very consistent discard outlet for Zephyros, which gets you more summons anyway and more ways to abuse Tiger. So the theory behind that is, even if they like Ash Mermaid, which is the traditional thing to do, you can still end on a respectable enough board with like enough interaction, and you are able to get into Rusty pretty easily enough if you run Underclock Taker, which obviously in the prototype build I wasn't playing, but that's just like maxing out on like combo pieces just to showcase stuff. I would never run all of these 15 cards together like this. This would never be what my actual extra deck looks like, never. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and link summon using the Force Strix and the Yellow Marten, and go ahead and summon Nightmare Phoenix or Cerberus if you play it, whichever one, just the link to Nightmare to get the Orcust play started. We're going to use whichever Nightmare to make a Mermaid, use its effect to ditch the Zephyros, and then summon out Orcust Nightmare. And there it is. So yeah, the important thing again was just getting Zephyros in graveyard. Obviously it's much more ideal if you can get the Mermaid to resolve, because a lot of your like end game and like grinding even like in future turns can somewhat depend on this resolving, so that is somewhat important. From here we're going to scale Lunalight Tiger and use its effect to bring back the Kaleido Chick. Afterwards we're going to use Chick's effect to send a copy of Emerald Bird, just more level 4s to be honest. And it can come up where you detach it for effect later on, but I'll get to that. And then from here, we're going to use Zephyros in grave, returning back the Tiger yet again. dropping 400 life points. And then I'm going to scale the tiger once more and bring back the emerald bird. So with just Chick Tiger, you basically end on this board, and then it's up to you to decide how you want to manipulate this. That is, of course, assuming that you go for the Orcust route. So 5 bodies is quite nice, considering that one of them is an Orcust card, and then like you have a bunch of dark monsters, and you have type diversity, so there is a lot of stuff you can conceivably go for. But I'm going to go for, again, my preferred route. So we're going to turn the Nightmare Mermaid and the Orcust Nightmare into Galatea. And then, pardon my misplacement of zones, this should not be blocking that zone. It doesn't hugely matter in the end, but it could come up. Oops, so you're gonna overlay these two into the zone Galatea points to. And it's important that you put Galatea in this zone because we're gonna switch Rusty over here to open up 2 more zones. So you just get added value out of that. I don't think you can see my cursor actually now that I think about it. We're gonna move the Galatea to the other zone and open up those 2. That's what I was saying. So you can now make your rank 4 of choice. If you want to make a non-dark Xyz monster, this is where you would do it. So whether it's Tornado or Dweller, this is better versus Striker, this is better versus Salamangreat, and then this is probably ideal versus Thunder, but if you're blind game 1, then probably Dweller is the choice here. Perfect. So, oops, we're not going to do that yet. Let's backtrack. Before we do this, we're going to use Orcust Nightmare's effect in Graveyard to go ahead and send the Harp Horror to grave, and then we're going to banish it from grave to special summon the Symbol Skeleton. And then we're going to use Galatea plus the Skeleton for the Rusty. So you can see where this is going, because now you have Galatea that can be brought back off of the Symbol Skeleton, which is all fine and dandy. Before that though, we're going to use Rusty's effect. Now, there's several different ways. It depends on if you want to run double Galatea or not. So I'm going to show the route that could be most value, but requires the second Galatea. So you're going to set the Brigandine by setting the Ancient Cloak, and you're going to search the Silent Boots by banishing the Cloak. And then next you're going to banish the Symbol Skeleton to bring back the Galatea. And then next up you're going to activate Shade Brigandine, move it here. And then you're going to overlay these 2 for the Time Thief Redoer. Now, I said it didn't hugely matter, but like it could come up if you want the Emerald Bird under the Redoer, which ideally you probably should, because if you go to spin something, you can also simultaneously detach the Emerald Bird to banish this till the end phase, so it frees up your zone, also getting you back the banished Yellow Marten off the Emerald Bird when detached for its effect. So, good stuff there. Now here's where it gets pretty interesting. If you want to go the double Galatea route, you would use Galatea effect. Gonna go ahead and what you shuffle back can sometimes matter. If you want to shuffle back Symbol Skeleton, that does set you up for the highest value play, like in the long term, but it makes you a bit weak to like Call by the Grave later on, or like a Shark Cannon or a DD Crow. Admittedly, it doesn't matter, I guess, because this, if you send this to grave and then like shuffle this back, the Harp Horror back instead, it doesn't matter because both are susceptible, but it's stuff to think about. So you could shuffle back the Symbol Skeleton off of Galatea's effect, and then set the Orcust Crescendo is its TCG name. And then if you want to go the double Galatea route, special summon the Boots, and then you go ahead and overlay for Dingirsu. I think it's like the Orcust Shining Star or something like that. I can't remember its name. You're going to use the Dingirsu effect to attach that as material. I'm just going to send it to grave because we're going to link these off anyway into the second Galatea. So this way you have the harp that can summon the Symbol Skeleton, and then you can like link away the Symbol Skeleton, and then bring back the Dingirsu. Now the thing to note about this actually is because the Galatea has to be summoned to a zone a Link Monster points to, obviously via game mechanics. It is kind of awkward to get the Dingirsu to a zone that Rusty points to, because like I was saying, you kind of want the loop going, right? Where you go banish Symbol Skeleton, bring back Dingirsu to a zone this points to, and then Rusty can pop a card while Dingirsu reattaches the Symbol Skeleton, so if you need to grind like that, you can just keep going and do it that way. It is up to you. The Redoer will clear its own zone, but if you have the Harp Horror, then like you're gonna have to link it away. You could link off with Galatea, that is an option. And then with Symbol Skeleton, you can banish and then put the Dingirsu in this zone here. If you have the Symbol Skeleton in the graveyard and the Harp Horror is the one that you shuffled back, you could just directly use the Symbol Skeleton to put the Dingirsu in this zone right away after you redo it, like relocate it when it comes back from being banished. But that's kind of like very semantics. That's like super small stuff that can come up. Just you have to be cognizant of it, but it's not like fundamental to the combo or anything. But the last thing you're gonna do is banish the Silent Boots for a copy of Fogblade, and you're gonna set it to your field. So this is what you end on, and this is my preferred route. It doesn't seem super great, but you do have a negation of pretty much anything. You can spin back any face-up card, so if it's multi-roll, if it's the Salamangreat normal summon, if it's a threat that Thunder Dragon poses, you can go ahead and spin it back with Redoer. You have Dweller or Tornado Dragon, whichever rank 4, to shut off either the graveyard or pop additional back row. And then you have Fogblade. So the thing is that this board kind of loses to like multiple side deck cards at a time, which is why you kind of like don't want to commit too heavily if you feel like they're going to side heavily against you. Like Kaijus and like Pankratops. Like if they like Kaiju your Galatea and then like they Pankratops, then that's really unfortunate because that clears the Redoer and it clears the Crescendo in one go, and then all you have left is like a Fogblade and whatever rank 4. Or if like they evenly matched you after Kaijuing you, that like sucks a lot. But this is like kind of the standard sort of thing that you can go for. I feel like this is safer. It's not nearly as impressive as Griffin, Set Order, and then Azathoth. Like you have all that crazy stuff. But if you do get hand trapped, I think that you can definitely make like a smaller version of this board. Whereas if you get hand trapped anywhere in like the other sequence that I will show with Curious Griffin, then you kind of just run out of steam. Like if you can't resolve your full combo, and that's what your game plan is. So I'm a big fan of this. You still have Tiger next turn. Again, you have Emerald Bird that can bring back the Yellow Martin. You have Dingirsu cycling. And oh, I guess I should showcase if you don't want to run double Galatea. That's probably a good idea. So if you didn't want to run double Galatea, the symbol would bring this back. You would still get this. But yeah, the only real difference is you would keep this on the board, and then instead of sending the Ancient Cloak, you would just send the Silent Boots directly off of the Rusty, because you don't have anything to link away with. Yeah, you wouldn't have the Dingirsu right away, but oh yeah, you wouldn't shuffle back the symbol. Definitely, you wouldn't shuffle it back. You would shuffle back the Harp or the Orcust Sniper, probably the Harp. But that way, like if your Galatea lives, you can overlay the Dingirsu. So like this becomes something that they have to deal with like directly, because then again you can just overlay the Dingirsu on top of it, and then you can go ahead and start your cycling that way. And the cool thing with that actually is because you weren't forced to like you aren't forced to necessarily loop like in that aspect. You can actually use Dingirsu's other effect to send cards if you feel confident enough to like break their board. The thing, I guess, like small advantages and disadvantages, if you ran double Galatea and have like this engrave and stuff, if they like Kaiju your Galatea, then like at least you still have the loop with Dingirsu plus Symbol Skeleton like live and ready to go. But if like they Kaiju this, then your Jingyusu is just kind of dead in your extra deck. So that is something to definitely think about. I would definitely still play Jingyusu just because like it's such good synergy with Rusty. And the cool thing is like if this gets broken and if this gets broken, you have Fog Blade to bring this back. And then like if like this gets cleared or something somehow, which it shouldn't be because you can always forfeit it away, but like if you bring it back to a different zone, then you can like, if you're only playing one Galateo, you can just like overlay the Jingyusu on top of the Galateo here, and then like get a pop, get a send, or like recycle stuff. It's like a lot of recursive ability, which is one of the cool things about Fog Blade, is that it revives Rusty, which is pretty absurd if you ask me. Honestly, it's kind of nice. And again, like your rank 4 gets to be pretty much whatever you want it to be. It's pretty cool. So yeah, not again as floodgatey as Griffin, Azathoth, and Order. Those are literally 3 floodgates, but you have just more point disruptions, which require more skill to use correctly. But if you interrupt your opponent at the correct times, then you'll be good to go. And again, this is off just 2 cards, and you didn't have to like randomly discard anything, because everything was self-contained. Because what you discarded off Mermaid was something you searched anyway within the same combo. So you are able to use the other 3 cards to do whatever you want. It probably involves extending this board a wee bit further, probably with another rank 4 if you wanted to like destroy Tiger off of like the Redoer, or like after Redoer is summoned to the zone Rusty points too. If you can get like another rank 4, like that could happen. Again, this is a little bit lacking in negates, and that's what I don't like about it. Like, oops, okay, well, you know Fog Blade's there. The only real negation you have is the Crescendo Climax, the counter trap. Which is why I'm like, I really want to be able to like summon a Savage Dragon more, but luckily there is a combo where if you just have a way into Destrudo alongside Chick Tiger, you can go ahead and do that, which is the next combo that I will showcase in this lovely playlist. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this combo. This is like the most basic bare bones combo, but there's kind of a bit of intricacies that I want to discuss, and I hope I covered them well enough, even though it might seem a little bit pedantic at this point, and it's like, wow, why are you talking for 17.5 minutes about literally like the smallest of things? It's like these kinds of things are the things that separate like I guess the astute players from those that just kind of like blindly follow combos. And like, you know, I'm not saying that like it's bad to like use combo videos as a reference, obviously, because I'm posting a combo video myself, but it's important to know the nuances behind the combos so you can like get a better understanding of exactly what you need to be keeping in mind as far as like interaction with your opponent's concerned. Because like, yeah, you can solitaire hands all day, but like once you go to an event, it's a 2-player game, at least in theory. So you're gonna be having to think about like what your opponent will do on their turn, what they'll even do to stop you doing your turn, like your first turn, 3 hand traps, what you can do as a follow-up on subsequent turns after you make this board. Like, you can make the board, but like you need to be able to like actually protect it correctly and like make a good push the next turn, and then things you might want to consider in deck building. So that's like why I discuss like the double Galatea thing a lot, stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. This is going on way too long. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.